Hi, I'm going to show you how to create fluency checks within your learning management system, Canvas. So I'm going to be creating this in my sandboxes, which is where I just kind of play around with ideas for my students. I'm going to, once in my tile course, my sandbox, I'm going to click on modules. Once you get to modules, you can either create a whole new module for your fluency checks, but for this, I already have one created. So fluency checks for this coming school year. Then I'm going to click the add button. And then of course, I'm going to be creating an assignment. I'm just going to name this one Fluency Check 2, and I'm going to put Monday's date on there. And I'm going to click add item. Okay, so it is created, but now I have to go in and edit that assignment. So it has more detail for my students. I'm going to click the edit button. Once I click on the title, I'm going to give them a description of what I want them to do. Okay, so they're going to record themselves reading the text for 1 minute. In the text box, I'm going to give them the option of having a text box. I want them to tell me what line and what word that they stopped at. In the text box, record where you stopped reading. Line and last word. Okay. Here, I'm also going to upload my fluency cold read that I want my students to use for this assignment. So there is my cold read. Sometimes it'll upload into the original size. So you kind of have to play with it on how big you want it. And then, of course, you can always make your text bigger, centered, bolded. You can play around with it on how you will like your setup. And then, of course, I still need my 1 minute timer. So I'm going to click on the three dots and I'm going to click on this kind of like cloud looking embedded symbol. I'm going to click there. And now I got to go get my YouTube video for my 1 minute timer. So this time I'm going to embed it. I'm going to copy the embed link or code. And then, of course, I'm going to click submit and then align it how I want it. Then I'm going to come down here and give my assignment a point value. So I'm going to just do 1 point. This way, if I know Sally had, to do 4 fluency checks throughout the week, at the end of the week, she should have 4 points for fluency. If she only has 3, then I know she skipped one and she needs to go back and complete that. I'm not going to count this as a final grade only because this is more independent practice. I want them to practice their fluency and for me just to be able to monitor them. And then of course the big one here is going to be to how are they going to submit it? How do you want them to submit it? Of course, we want online, want them to have a text entry so they can tell us what word and line they stopped at. And we want them to have the option for media recording. All right, you can have them upload videos, but that might get a little tricky, especially if they're younger students. And then, of course, how many times do you want them to allow to attempt this assignment? I'm just going to do 2, especially at the beginning of the school year. They're still becoming, more familiar with Canvas, so on and so forth. So I'm going to give them 2 attempts at each of their fluency checks. I might change that as the students get used to it and we get more in depth. So you can either assign this to your whole class or you can pick one specific student. So here I have my daughter for an example. I want her to do it. I don't want everybody else. So it's just going to be assigned to her. I'm going to have a due date. The fluency check should be done the same day. So I'm just going to have it done for that Monday. And then, of course, after that, you're going to click Save and Publish. If you don't publish it, it won't